Ulikuwa muted.
Saro, umemute.
Ni mtu anamute.
Ni nani? Doreen. Saro
Kuna mtu
amemute.
naona inasema all muted. Process zingine inasema hivyo.
Bado unaweza jimute ukitaka.
Unaweza jimute ukitaka.
Mimi nimemute kwa kutaka.
Lakini kwani mwalimu aongei?
Ndo nashindwa pia.
Shaw, you are silent. Ako muted. Aongei.
Ama naweza enda lunch. Niko njaa.
Sha ni saa 9 inaelekea. Dunia ako muted, Kena ako muted. Ni watu mnasikia Cha akiongea?
Hapana. Na wewe?
Simsikii. Mimi naona tu midomo inatembea za zingine.
Mimi hakuna kitu naona hadi. Naona Saro tu na Kamuli wamemute.
Wamemute. Alafu Robinson ako ameangalia sana. Ameenda.
Basis. So it could be as a result of hello? Are you still there?
Yes.
So the moment I go offline, please type there. Do you know how to type?
How to?
To chat, to type there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wapi? We are chatting where?
On the left part. The left part of your screen.
On your left side kuna kamechoro hapo.
Kana hivi ka line.
No, on your left.
On my left.
On your left. Down there. Bottom left.
Chini kabisa.
Yes. Have you seen it? So the moment I go offline, type there. I'll know. Are we together?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it okay you join class without camera on?
No, we want to see what you're doing there. Now, this is what you do. If you know
but I'm seeing you.
Yes, and we cannot see you, so we have to see you. So this is what we want you to do. If you know you are in a place where there's noise, turn your microphone on, off.
Okay.
Are we together? Are you answered? If you are in a noisy place, turn your microphone on.
It's a network, not noisy.
Then you can leave it on. Answered?
The camera is not responding.
But we can see you.
For me, I can't see myself. Oh, okay.
But you can see us.
Yeah, now I can see you. For sure.
Okay, if you can see us, that's right. So that's no problem. Now, I repeat, if you have any issue, right here. If you cannot hear me, just right here, and then I'll see what to do. were talking about the osmotic pressure. When liquids have to move from regions of high concentration to low concentration to balance. So if there's no balance, there will be movement. So water diffuses to the area of higher concentration in attempt to equalize the concentration. So this osmotic pressure affects the sweetness of wine. In the case of sweet wine production, the yeast is the area of lower concentration. So what happens? Water diffuses out of the yeast and into the must, stopping the process of converting the alcohol. In the end, what we have are sweet wines. I don't know if I'm clear there. Am I clear?
Yes, you are.
Or I can repeat the sentence.
Yes, pardon, please.
Okay. Now, you remember osmotic pressure. Movement of is it molecules
Yes,
from regions of high concentration to,
the region of low.
yes, things have to be balanced. So here, water will have to move. So it is water moving through a semi-permeable membrane. Water is going to diffuse. That is another word for moving to the area of higher concentration. So in the case of sweet wine, the yeast, we have yeast, which is of a lower concentration. And then we have the sugar itself, which is high concentration. So
Concentration.
water, yes. So water has to move out of the yeast and into the must. In other words, the water in the yeast cell will diffuse out and will attempt to dilute the sugar in the juice. The yeast cell itself then begins to shrivel from lack of water. Somebody's in a noisy place. So, the first way of making sweet wines is to do this. You will stop the fermentation completely. In other words, you're going to arrest the fermentation. The winemaker, this is how you will arrest the fermentation. You will kill or remove the yeast from the must.
What is must? What is most?
Must is the mixture of the juice and the yeast before it is turned into alcohol. That mixture is the must. So the juice is inside and the yeast. Are you answered?
Yes.
Yes. So the first step of making sweet wines is to stop the fermentation. In other words, arrest the fermentation. You arrest it by removing the yeast. Remember, without yeast, there is no fermentation. Yeast catalyzes the fermentation. So you have your juice, you have your grape, but it won't be turned into the alcohol. What we have is a sweet beverage. That's how we make sweet wines. So the dry wines have fermentation gone all the way to the end. So that is the first method, removing the yeast. We have another extremely very simple way of making sweet wines. Now, like dessert wines, this is what you do. Just add the sugar and you have yourself what? A sweet wine. So you see, this is much simpler than the other one. Add sugar and you have your sweet wine. Yeah.
Normal sugar.
Yeah.
Normal sugar.
Yes, but we have a chemical, the industrial sugar, not the normal sugar. The industrial sugar, which is much suited for this work.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many ways did we find? 2 ways of making sweet wines.
2 ways.
Yes, remove the yeast so that it prevents the alcohol from having more alcohol. The mousse from having more alcohol. The yeast, remember, very important for making the ethanol. Or the second way, we can just add sugar, and you have your sweet wine. Now, racking. After fermentation, we have to go into another step that is called racking. Now, racking is the simplest way of separating the wine from the yeast. Are you seeing? Is it there in your screen?
Yes.
You've seen it? Okay. Racking.
Racking.
Yes, this is the simplest way. After fermentation, we have racking. This is the simplest way of separating the yeast from the sugar. Those are the residual matter that we don't need. We'll have dead yeast cells and all that. So you have to separate it. You have to make it clear. Now, racking is done. You siphon off the top of the vessel and into a clean vessel, leaving the dead yeast behind. Yeah. So not all the yeast will settle at the same time. So racking continues several times until you have no more cells precipitate. So racking, simply siphon off wine into another vessel. At the bottom, what's going to remain is dead yeast cells. Now, the use of oak. Once we have we are done with the fermentation, with the racking, we have to use oak for fermentation. We have different vessels. There could be metal, there could be other what we call the other wood or types of wood, but is the best type of timber or wood for this purpose. It is the oak. There are 2 reasons why the oak is very, very important to our winemaking. One is because of this. Traditionally, where someone is in a noisy place. Yes, traditionally, where we produce wines, we have oak growing. For example, France, Slovenia, and the United States. So the first reason why oak is important is because it is readily available in those countries that grow grapes for making wine. So that is the first reason. Oak is readily available. It doesn't have to be imported. Just cut from the forest nearby. Accessibility is the most important thing. The second one, the oak has an important flavor compound found in vanilla. It's called vanillin. So it improves the flavor quantity or the flavor of the wines. Vanilla, found in vanillin. You've used vanilla somewhere. Hello?
Yes, we have used it at the production.
Yes. Oak has that vanilla, which is important in the flavor of wines. Now, the third reason is oak has a grain structure that allows for controlled diffusion of air through the wood, which slows incorporation of air into the aging wine. So 3 reasons why oak is central to the production of wines. Now, after we've done the racking, there is a fining. You can see it below your screen. Fining, after the racking, after racking the wine, it is still not clear. So there are still pieces of pulp, proteins, and other compounds that are too small to settle at the bottom of the tank. So the winemaker will have to utilize agents that will collect those stray particles in order to clarify the wine. This process is called fining. So in short, we are interested with the clarity here. After that, fining, bottling. This is the final stage in the production of wines. You have to put your wine into bottles. So, because wine is a food product, it has the possibility of spoiling. So we have to take necessary precautions to prevent bacterial infection and oxidation of the wine. So infection is prevented through what we call a cold sterile bottling. So this is what happens. The bottle are sanitized before being filled with wine. Heat is avoided because it will alter the flavor of the wine. And then the bottle will also get a small amount of SO2, sulfur dioxide, which preserves the wine. So sulfur dioxide works in this way. It takes out the oxygen, which oxygen affects the wine. So if you expose your wine to oxygen, it will be bad in taste. It will deteriorate. So that is the use of sulfur dioxide to take away the oxygen. Now, there's a reason why most wine bottles or most wine are stored in brown or dark green bottles. The colored glass is used to absorb UV light, which degrades the wine. In some areas like Germany, the color of the glass is indicative of a specific region. But the most important thing is the UV light. I think you've seen many alcoholic beverages stored in dark colored bottles.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a reason for it. The UV light degrades the wine. It breaks it down into components that are actually not good. So that is the reason why we store them in dark green or brown bottles. Now, bottles vary with shape variety. In areas other than France, producers will choose the best bottle shape of the French region where a similar wine is produced. Now, a Cabernet Sauvignon will be bottled in Bordeaux bottle. Do you see where I'm looking at? There. So we have the first type of bottle, a Bordeaux bottle. Now, a Pinot Noir will be bottled in a Burgundy-style bottle. Riesling are bottled in Flute d'Alsace, which will be also in the shape of top-quality German wines. Now, before we go on, we want to look at these bottles. So let me present something here. Give me 2 minutes. I'll get them and copy them here.
Hey.
Okay. Let's see red wine making. The process is a bit different for red wine making. So just a minute. Hello? Look at that process for red wine making. Now here we start with the grapes which have to be harvested into the crushed stemma. Fermentation first, which happens before the pressing. That is the difference. These two stages are altered. In the fermentation, in red wine making, we ferment first before pressing. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay. Fermentation before pressing. If we go back for white wine, it is pressing before fermenting. That is the difference. There's additional stage which is added in the red wine making. Aging. Yes, aging is added here. Yeah. So that is the process of making red and
Red
wine. Yeah. Now, after fermentation, in what we call post-fermentation, we have other things that we can do to that wine. They include micro-oxygenation. Micro-oxygenation. Now, for red wines that use cockpits rather than barrels, you see them?
No.
Now, do you see them now?
Yes.
Okay. But we are on to the...
No.
Not yet. Yake vizuri.
Micro-oxygenation. You see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share a bigger screen.
Yes.
Now, do you see here? This is a bigger one. Are you seeing?
No, I
Are
can't.
you sure? I've shared a bigger one.
Yeah, we can't see it clearly. It's not clear.
can't-
Very small.
Yes, we can see.
Let me try. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking about micro oxygenation.
Oxygenation. Yes.
So oak has two influences on wine: the flavor and controlled exposure to oxygen. Now, to replace this controlled oxygen exposure, some winemakers utilize micro-oxygenation, which is shortened as MOX. Now,
Hebu kuja uone venye tunasoma.
MOX is a process in which
Doreen, you're
controlled
making
amount.
noise.
What are you saying?
Doreen is making noise. Go
I'm
online.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, MOX is a process in which controlled amounts of oxygen are dissolved into a vat of wine. Now, the amounts are so small that they are imperceptible to the naked eye. There are no bubbles. Using the process plus oak chips winemaker. Now, this is very, very complex for us. So what you do, we just have to know it is one of the steps, micro-oxygenation. That is what we shall know it as at now. So the second post-fermentation activity is called de-alcoholization.
Alcohol.
Yes, that means removing alcohol. Now, there are more technological methods to reduce alcohol in a finished wine. The most common is the reverse osmosis. And then there is also another one, which is less common. It's called selective
Evaporation.
evaporation. Yeah, so two methods, reverse osmosis and selective evaporation. Now, a third post-fermentation activity is called carbonic
maceration.
Yes, some red wines are made in a soft fruity style by a technique known as carbonic maceration. So in this method, whole classes of grapes are placed into a vat that is blanketed with carbon and sealed. Enzymes in the grapes begin to break down the sugars in the pulp in a sort of intercellular fermentation. Eventually, the grapes burst, releasing juice into the vat. The wild yeast on the exterior of the grapes then begins fermenting the juice. The lack of oxygen in the vat creates an aroma profile that can be described as banana, bubblegum, or Kool-Aid. Now, the most famous wine made this way is called Beaujolais. Yes. So, this is a summary to what we have been talking about. Winemaking is complex and a transformational process. Now, what we know, it allows the winemaker to transform the fruit of the vineyard into an alcoholic beverage. He has to make many decisions that will influence the final product. These decisions are, to start with, the grapes are to be processed and end with the types of closure the bottle will get. Every step of the winemaking is a decision point, influencing the product that we will find in the bottle. So, while these decisions may make the difference between a Cabernet Sauvignon that is meant for aging versus one that is drinkable immediately, the truth is that they are both still Cabernet Sauvignon. So we have some quizzes here.
The first question is the first.
Yeah, some questions that I want you to answer.
What have you have done?
Jackie,
Yes.
unaona hizo questions? Mi sioni.
Ziko
Change to-
yes, hapo chini. Si
Wapi
uko na
hapo? Mi
nini?
sioni maji.
ulikuwa
Uko na
unaona
nini? Uko na
Niko
ile
na
uko na PDF ya notices za wine and bar. Ziko hapo.
yeah.
Kama
mi
uko na
nafikiria ni
PDF
hii
ya
nini.
there.
tumemaliza
Sawa.
class ama
Shameenda wapi? Si tumwombe namba.
mi nataka kukula.
We hata mimi
Unafanyia
niko na
nini na-
chakula. Hata mimi niko na chakula hapo wacheza. Jackie, niko njaa.
Pia
Salisa.
mimi. Guy, kwani class ijaisha?
Hebu kuja tupatie namba
Inaisha
amalize
5.
class.
Kenny, share. Let's share ugali.
Na sukuma.
Sukuma, cabbage na nyama.
Sawa.
Nini?
Dorin.
Yes?
Umeziona Ann?
Nini hizo?
Kirosi, umeona questions?
Ninataka
Including grapevines. So, and
it is a disease or a plant?
well, it is a parasite. I think they named it a parasite.
A parasite that grows attaching itself to the roots or the leaves.
The roots or the leaves of a grapevine.
Yeah.
They are feed. I think I did not find its benefits, but I think I can get one within the next 2 minutes. You can skip for now.
Okay. Significance doesn't mean a good thing.
Significance. It sucks the plant sap.
It does what?
Sucks. It sucks out the plant sap.
Yeah. So significance is not necessarily good thing. Are we together, Ken?
Yes, we are.
Good. Now, any other thing you have to say on Phylloxera? Phylloxera?
Can you say
size? I don't know. It's not that important. I don't find it very important, but I read somewhere it grows under mid humid temperatures. It enjoys mid humid temperatures, minimum cold, minimum heat. Hapo tu katikati.
Okay. Now, next time, you have to quote your source. You don't say, I read somewhere. You're going to do trade project. You have to know where you read it.
Okay.
Good. Number, are we going to 3, 4?
Number 4.
Yes. Who is it?
Ayuko. Yes, he has not.
Number 5.
Okay, what is the maritime climate?
You are to find out. So tell us the maritime climate.
Okay, the research that I've done.
Yeah.
A maritime climate is a wine producing region that are directly affected by the proximity to the large body waters.
To a large body water.
Yes.
That's very good.
Pardon.
A maritime climate. These are when producing regions that are directly affected by their proximity to large body waters.
Okay.
Okay. Number 6.
Silantoi.
Is she even there?
No, I
No.
can't see her.
I can see there's a green icon. She's online, but I've not seen her since we started. Tell her to share the webcam. Silantoi. We are waiting for her. Okay. Number 1 is here. So
Yes,
we can
number
go
one
to
is
number 1 before we continue.
Okay, number 1 was special. Okay.
species of grapes.
Yeah. So nimetafuta nimekosa part zenye nimepata I can say.
What did you
First,
get?
paper ones
Yeah.
are the ones used when you hit with them. Yeah, their hardcore percentage.
What are you talking about? Your question is state species of grape.
The first, yeah,
Your question was state species of grape
Doreen.
Yes.
makes
Yeah.
that makes quality
The first
table
one.
wine.
Yeah.
What is the first one?
I found Merlot.
No.
Merlot.
That's not a species.
What
That's
are
a grape.
species?
Species include Vitis vinifera, Labrusca, Rotandafolia, and Amurensis.
Acha hizo majina, sema polepole.
I only
Vitis
find these
vinifera.
Vitis vinifera.
Vinifera.
Yeah.
Vitis vinifera.
Vinifera. Another one.
Yes.
Another one.
Labrusca.
Labrusca. Jameni.
Then we have Rotundafolia.
Lutunda.
Ratodicalia.
And
Pardon.
Amurensis.
Some laces.
Let me show you where they are.
Yes, show us, please.
In the notes.
Mi nilitafuta nilikosa na venye niling'ang'ana hata kuangalia.
They are just in the first.
Now, can you see?
Oh, these ones, yes.
Oh, I can't see you. Mine is blank.
Yours is Blanca. Why?
Doreen.
Hmm? Yes?
Okay, we move to the next question.
Lento
Oscar.
is here.
Oscar.
Oscar should answer number 4. To state number 4 because the person is not here.
Who is that number 4? Who was doing number 4?
Joy, but she went.
I see there is a Silanto here.
Silanto is doing number 6.
Yes, we can do while we wait for the other one.
Number 6.
Yes.
Yes.
Mama.
Esther is wasting our time. Wherever she is. Has Anthony spoken?
No, I have.
Anthony,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Let me try out. Continental climate. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Continental climate is the climate that has been adapted by the wine farming plantation.
Characterized by very remarkable season changes that occur during the growing season, hot temperature during the summer.
No.
Jackie siongee tu Kikamba.
Kwani unanisikia?
Siongee tu Kikamba. Uko
Akina
labda
sikia eko.
uko tu hapo unaongea ati English. Hey, Oscar.
Yeah, Rada.
Vipi bwana?
Mbona nasikia eko kwa phone yangu?
Hata yangu kuna vile nasikia pia mimi
Yaani
echo.
watu wamekaa